Hi everybody, we're here at the First Canadian Centre, a beautiful, beautiful property. I'm here to interview Corbin Staniloff with Armco Capital. It's going to be an amazing podcast with tons of insight. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's go.
We have a series of attributes at the Armco group of companies that I think are very valuable. One of them is sense of urgency. So always moving quickly. Don't let things just stew and sit on them. Another one is challenge the status quo. Don't take things at face value. The reason why I bought into them is because at my company, it's amazing how everyone actually really does these things. Like you can see it sincerely. And the success that we've seen because of those attributes is just amazing.
Hi everybody, I'm Jared Starbett and this is Mastering Property Management. Today we are in the beautiful First Canadian Centre in the tenant lounge here. And I am with Corbin Staniloff with Asset Management at Armco Capital. Corbin, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Really, really honored to have you. We haven't done too many on-site podcasts like this. We've done a few, and I'm honored to have you on this one.
I had to have you out here. It's a great spot.
Yeah, it really is. It's a beautiful space. I can't wait to tour it as well. Corbin, let's get right into it. Armco Capital is a true Canadian success story, a real embodiment of the Canadian dream. For those who are not familiar, can you share a bit about the company's origins, who Armco Capital is, and where you are today?
Well, it is definitely the Canadian dream. It is a very ambitious dream. It is George Armoyan is the principal, and it is a family company, but we've obviously grown into so much more than that. At Armco Capital, it's in the Armoyan group of companies. There's a few different holding companies, and they're very active in all sorts of different investments and across North America and beyond. Here in Calgary, we've obviously been expanding. We have 3 great assets currently, and we're going to be getting a few more, which I might be able to hint at. And it is the Canadian dream because George was a self-starter. He came to Canada. He was doing his engineering degree at Dalhousie in Halifax. And as far as I understand it, before my time, he was offered an engineering job, and it was one of the best offers that they could have made at that company. But he wasn't offered any equity. So he goes, I don't like it. So he became entrepreneurial, and he grew it from the ground up. And then some other major bets that I think, with some intelligence and with luck in the market and good timing, he's been able to profit off of. In the financial crisis in the US, in the Panhandle, he got, whether it was land or unfinished condo projects, he was able to get at a very attractive price.
Amazing.
And finish these off. And then, I'll just touch on it. In oil and gas during COVID, he took a big bet and invested largely, whether it was acquiring debt or just taking control of some companies. He's really dove deep into it.
We're here at the beautiful First Canadian Centre, which Armco Capital acquired late last year for $46.5 million, making your 3rd major office acquisition in Calgary within just 14 months, alongside Bow Valley Square and the Altius Centre. What strategic value does this landmark property bring to your portfolio? And what's driving Armco's bold and accelerated expansion in Calgary's commercial real estate market?
We do have a great mix of assets. I think that we couldn't be more proud of the assets that we do have. But I think that we are a company that is very deal driven. Of course, the way that we look at assets, we're not going to be underwriting an asset unless we do think that there is a good fit. So we're really deal driven. When we get an opportunity, we do a pulse check. But other than that, if the deal works, we're happy to move on it. We do believe that there is a great opportunity in office. We're very bullish in office. I think that we have a unique perspective because of our oil and gas relationships. And obviously Calgary is very high focused on that. But also in the return to office, we are bullish that office is always going to remain. It does change in very minute ways. I would say not huge ways, because all the deals that we've been doing are still kind of focused in the same general direction. So we're very proud of these assets. Yeah.
Amazing. And it sounds like you're looking for great value properties that have great potential from the looks of it. Yeah,
I think that all of the assets have to have another element, whether that's a plan B or a plan C. So we're doing our homework up front and seeing what we can do with these assets. And it's not sure that we're going to do plan B or C, but, we get prepared right off the get-go.
It's amazing. And it's so nice to see because, meanwhile, where a lot of people are scared of the office space, you're doing the opposite and probably getting, great value today.
Yes. I think that there's some luck, and George will be the first one to tell you. He said, I'll be able to tell you myself in 5 years, am I a visionary or a jackass? And I laughed so hard when he said that because it's true. But we have an opinion on it, and we're trying to move forward on that basis.
That's wonderful. Good to hear. Very good to hear. The original plans for the First Canadian Centre included a second 64-story tower back in the 1980s. So the foundational work, I believe, it was initiated.
Oh yeah, it's there. It was the largest continuous pour of concrete in North American history at the time. They closed the street for a week just to pour the foundation for that second tower that was never built.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And so we from what I've heard is Armco has expressed interest in reviving this vision.
We do have interest in it for sure. I mean, again, like I said, the plan B and plan C, what can we do with this site? The foundation, as we understand it, is still structurally sound. So we're obviously interested in that, but we're not going to be building Calgary's tallest tower. That would be Calgary's tallest tower still. So that was going to be massive. We're not going to be building that. And we're still investigating options on this. But yeah, we're very, focused on getting that homework done. What can we do? What would be the best idea for Calgary? I mean, it connects with the potential Green Line, LRT line. We're really excited about that project. And we're just investigating what we're going to do.
Amazing. Very good. Tell me a little about yourself. What got you into asset management in the first place? What are some of the major milestones along the way? And how did you reach the current level of success that you're in today?
The current level of success. Well, that's really nice of you to say. I don't know if we can say that thus far. Still starting out. Basically, I think it's all relationships. I have some fantastic relationships with the people that I've worked for, with the people that I am working with. I never like to close any doors. And we've seen some great success at Armco because we have people that we trust, whether that's my colleagues, my new colleagues at Bow Valley Square, my colleagues in Halifax and Montreal as well, but also our third-party leasing managers and property managers. Honestly, all of them give me white glove service, and I expect that from them, and they expect it back. So really happy with the team that we've kind of developed here.
I still want to know, what's your story, Corbin? Like, what got you to where you are today?
Well, it is relationships.
Yeah.
The relationships I have with the people that got me into this position. Obviously, George Armoyan is a very well-connected person. My father knows him through YPO, through Holloway Lodging, and even my dad's company called Superior Lodging Corporation. So there's multiple ways that they've been connected. I actually got into this position when George acquired the Altius Centre, and he was looking for an asset manager for kind of hotels and the Altius Centre. And since there's been more development on our office, I have now shifted over to office. But he didn't have a rep in Calgary to do asset management. And my background before that is in hotels. So I was helping him with the hotels and really with the office. It's been drinking water from a fire hose, but it's amazing how just common sense and working hard, I would say, kind of gets you in a solid position in the asset management role.
Amazing. What kind of work did you do with hotels?
A few different types of roles. I started off in a financing company. It was a mortgage brokerage out of Buffalo. Their group is called Armco Capital. I was in Toronto, and we did all different types of commercial real estate financing for big reputable companies. We did some hotels, some major hotels. We did grocery anchored retail, all different types of commercial real estate. And then I joined Cushman & Wakefield for their hotel investments team. I started off as the analyst, which I think is a great place to start. And then I moved up to a sales rep. I joined CBRE, and that was all in Toronto. And then with CBRE, I did move to Vancouver, and I was covering Western Canada for hotel investment sales. Unfortunately, COVID got in the way of that, and all of our listings completely fell off the face of the earth. And then I joined Master Built Hotels, developing hotels. So I was there for about 3 years, and that was a great team and a great opportunity that we were working on. Fortunately, it was quite tough to develop hotels, and it still is, although I think they're doing a great job. But with rising costs and more competitors in that select service market, which is what we were focused on. So hotel sales and hotel financing and development.
Cool. I took hotel restaurant management, so I have
nice.
a little bit of a common. It's a tough business.
That's really tough. You got to be hands on.
Yes, for sure. Business of a million details, just like asset management and property management in a lot of ways. Yeah. Very good. What are your key character traits that really make up, Corbin, and why you're so successful and doing so well?
Again, thank you. I appreciate that. But I think it's common sense. Again, and you know what, there's I really bought into the Armoyan attributes, and I don't mean to suck up, because I really am not, but we have a series of attributes at the Armoyan group of companies that I think are very valuable. One of them is sense of urgency. So always moving quickly, don't let things just stew and sit on them. Another one is challenge the status quo. Don't take things at face value. The reason why I bought into them is because at my company, it's amazing how everyone actually really does these things. Like, you can see it sincerely. And it's not like because we're told to, it's just the way that the company operates. And these are things that, like, immediately I see and I want to buy into too. And the success that we've seen because of those attributes is just amazing. So it's like, if you're kicking ass and you're doing these things, like, we should pat ourselves on the back and we should kind of just live by those attributes. So it's going well.
Amazing. Sense of urgency. Speak to that a little bit. Like, what do you mean? Like, is it like responding to your emails quick or getting?
It is. It's kind of everything.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to, like, be able to quarterback something, and if you sit on it for a day, or if you sit on it for like longer than that, I mean, it doesn't get done effectively. I would say there's an inverse relationship in the chance of a deal getting done the longer it takes. If you can get it done quickly, more likely it's going to happen. And also just, urgency. I mean, it's just getting things across the finish line faster, and that typically gives you better returns.
Yes. No, I couldn't agree more. And I can even see in your communication with me, it's quick responses right away. You're on top of it. That culture really does breed success.
It does.
Yeah. Very good. You have a fascinating academic background, a double major in consumer behavior and psychology. How has that influenced your approach to asset management and understanding tenant or market behavior?
Okay, well, thank you. I would say that it is a business degree. So you have to know the fundamentals and the basics of, obviously, business. And beyond that, I mean, me personally, I don't think that university was, my stepping stone into actually learning how to do my job. I think you have to know the basics for sure. But other than that, university teaches you how to learn. Okay, that's my opinion. So that's what it did for me. But then I do find psychology very interesting. I think that I like behavioral psychology. So rather than like what you're born with, biological, I think that behavioral is really interesting. How people are going to react, how people learn, how to motivate people.
Yes.
that's the type of stuff that I like, and I try to read books on that.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we'll get to the book question later. Maybe that'll be in there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, awesome. Armco Capital has been recognized as one of Canada's 50 best managed companies for 8 consecutive years. An incredible achievement. What do you think sets Armco apart operationally and culturally to earn that kind of sustained recognition?
A lot of great attributes for sure. The Amoyan group of companies, we have a good culture. So I think that there is, a lot of sociability, and I'm actually one of the only people in Calgary besides my colleagues at Bow Valley, but I don't even work with them, but we can chat. I think that culture is extremely important. It's a challenging place to work, but it's very rewarding. It is very challenging, actually. I mean, all these types of things, they expect excellence. And if I can see that if you weren't to show up, I mean, you wouldn't want to be showing up.
You wouldn't survive.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a great place to work because it's challenging and rewarding. Also, here's the thing. I've worked for another company or some other companies that have that accolade. And I think that an award like that is, a series of hurdles that you have to get through, and then you might earn that accolade, which is great. But the Armoyan group of companies actually feels different. I think that there's other companies that have it. This one is special. So I can't say enough good things about the company.
Yeah, beautiful. Very good, very good. And I'm sure that comes right from the top. I imagine that comes right from George.
It does. It's funny. It's definitely a very flat organization.
Yeah.
Obviously, the family is like, all of them are kind of some of my managers. And then I do have an actual direct manager. And other than that, it feels flat. And even, my counterpart, he's flat with me. So there's a great company dynamic where I think they empower everyone to make decisions.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of autonomy.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, it is the sense of urgency. I mean, if it was very vertical, I mean, it might take longer to move on decisions. I would say that we have to be one of the fastest organizations in terms of leasing and property management decisions. We move quickly.
Amazing.
It's definitely a competitive advantage.
Yeah. Okay, great. With Colliers managing proper operations and leasing for these assets, I believe, is it all 3 assets in?
Well, we have Colliers doing all of the office leasing. Across our 3 properties that we have now. We have Colliers doing the property management on First Canadian Centre and the Altius. They were already with the Altius when we acquired it, which was our first real endeavor recently into Calgary. So we kept them, and we did bring them on here because there wasn't going to be a third-party management company that was already on. But yeah, Bow Valley, we're managing ourselves.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Great. So how does Armco collaborate with property managers to ensure alignment with your asset management strategies and tenant satisfaction goals?
Well, first of all, again, a really great team. Quick communication. We do all the tenant surveys. We do a lot of, tenant relations for sure. And there's stuff I deal with day to day. Of course, we have to make things right if there are some issues, and we try to think proactively. But I'll say one thing that one of George's favorite quotes is he was driving down south somewhere in the States, and he saw a building, and the motto for the building was, "Price is the ultimate amenity." Okay, and what does that mean? It just means that, we don't care about necessarily, we don't care as much about a tenant lounge. We don't care about these types of things. Give us a reduced price. And so honestly, some of the biggest things that we've been doing in our properties across the board, we've already reduced our op costs, or our common area costs that the tenants pay for, by 10%.
Wow.
So
really,
that is huge savings.
Yes.
How happy would you be if you've already signed a lease and somehow there's a new owner, gets reduced by 10%.
Yeah.
So that was through hard work with our property managers, with our whole team, trying to reduce costs. We scrutinize everything. Okay, so that's the way that I work with our property managers and all of the deals that we do, third-party service providers. We're just trying to scrutinize and really try and drive down costs. And I think that is the best driver for tenant satisfaction.
Right, especially in this market. I can imagine that's there's a lot of value there. People are looking for that cost-effective place to be. So,
yeah. So we're happy about that.
Awesome. What are some of the trends that you're watching closely that could reshape asset management in the next 5 to 10 years? Whether it's technology, ESG, or demographic shifts. What are you seeing?
Yeah. Well, I'm more focused on the granular. And to be honest, there's going to be a lot of my counterparts across the industry or maybe even on my team that might have a bit more insight onto that because we are relatively new in the Calgary market. But I would say that there are a lot of things that are staying the same. Like we have these assets and obviously we love them. There's a lot of life left in these assets for sure. These are not going anywhere. And I mean, to look at trends, there definitely are trends that are occurring, and there's going to be work from home for sure. That's going to be staying there. Maybe it's 1 day a week, maybe it's 2 days a week, whatever it is. But the office is still going to remain, and we're really confident that is going to be a long-term type of industry. So in the deals that we're doing, I mean, there's minor changes to potentially our deals, but really it's pretty much like remain competitive and stay the course.
Yes. Do you see, let's talk about that work from home a little bit if you don't mind. Do you see that as the home as a competition or do you think that's more of a temporary thing?
It's definitely not a temporary thing, and I don't think it's also competition because again, so if I'm dealing with a tenant, they're going to look for an office that is attractive to bring them to the office, because I think that most tenants, the companies, do want at least some sort of face-to-face work. So they're trying to drive their employees back to work. And so we're looking at doing attractive office deals. It's simple as that. There's still a lot of productivity happening, but I think that, sometimes it can hinder. Sometimes some people might work better at home. And I do believe that there's both ways, but certainly not competition, and it's not going away. I think it's a good thing. But I also think it's a good thing that in Calgary, we're leading the charge, at least in Canada, of coming back to work. That has to do with less traffic. More entrepreneurial spirit, and maybe just the culture that we have here,
and perhaps price point too.
Perhaps price point. It could be all sorts of things. I mean, we're also a driving community. People like to just get in their cars and they're easy to get to work.
You were telling me before this that your occupancy is about 60%. Is that right? But when you purchased the property, you knew that you purchased it on understanding that you were losing one of your anchor tenants.
One of our anchor tenants.
And so tell me about that. So and you said you have a goal of 70%, you were saying?
We do for sure. I mean, we have pretty simple goals. We want to maintain occupancy. At First Canadian Centre, we'd love to have an occupancy by the end of the year at 70%. That's a lofty goal considering we're at 60 now, and we're losing an anchor tenant of about 12%. So we're going to be below 50%. It's a huge goal, and honestly, I mean, that's ambitious, but I do think that there is a way to do it, and we're looking at some deals to maybe make it happen. And I think that once we get FCC rolling with a few different things, I mean, frankly, we love this tenant lounge, and we did step into this. We think that a few more different development projects that we're looking in the building, and maybe some other tenants coming in, we'll get that ball rolling.
Amazing.
But the anchor tenant leaving, I mean, that was something that we underwrote for sure. And that had a huge impact on our underwriting and our valuation.
Right, yes.
But then, we looked at this as well, and there's a conference center that was done, a new tenant gym.
Right.
GWL did this work, and they did a fantastic job. And, we basically inherited it after they had done it. Right. So we're really happy about that, and it's going to be a great asset for our building.
Right on. Very, very good. And another big trend is the residential conversions downtown. Is that something that Armco has considered at all?
We definitely are considering it, and every property that you have that's office, I mean, you should consider it. I mean, the city of Calgary is offering a grant of $75 a foot to help facilitate that. That's not going to usually move the needle. There's a lot of cost and a lot of economics to getting it done. But we are doing our homework for our assets. It's plan B, plan C. So we're kind of looking at those types of options, but we're not going to do them necessarily.
Okay.
Again, it's getting ready for whatever comes our way. But I think it's very fascinating what's happening in the city. We've been doing a really good job. The city has a mandate to convert 6 million square feet or get rid of it one way or the other. We've already seen some demolitions as well. And I think that, our assets, some of them are, well positioned potentially for conversion. So we like to do that homework up front. And it's really interesting to get into it.
No kidding.
For sure.
No kidding. That's going to completely change the landscape of downtown and bring so much more life to it. And I imagine in turn, it's going to fill the office space up more too. So it's really a win-win, this residential conversion for everyone.
It's definitely a win-win. So right beside the Altius Centre, we have Eau Claire Place 2 and Eau Claire Place 1.
Right.
Both of those different owners are being converted to residential. One of them is already open. The other one's going to be open very soon. And then from my window, I can see 3 new residential developments getting built.
No kidding.
And those are going to be, drivers for that Eau Claire type of area, and even the west side. So I'm just super bullish on the downtown core. The city of Calgary has a revitalization 10-year project. They've been working hard on it, and I think seeing some wins. There's a lot of work left to be done. But I think it's a good time to bet on Calgary as a core. And then, if you have a healthy core, I think it does filter out to the rest of the city.
No kidding. Is George looking at other markets too, or is really Calgary the market or Alberta the market that he's most bullish on?
Well, I mean, I have my hands full with Calgary and Edmonton. We are looking at an asset there. But George does not have his hands full necessarily with all that. He is very active in other markets. In the Maritimes. In the Maritimes, probably not as much. Actually, no, that's not true. They got a large land development happening there. In Ontario, we have large-scale residential development. In Montreal and Quebec, we have new development. We have conversion. And then down south in the Panhandle, again, we have large-scale development happening there.
So he's bullish across, across the board.
He is definitely, he's not afraid to make investment decisions and move forward. He is bullish, but obviously it is deal focused. So every deal gets scrutinized.
Amazing. Do you get to talk to George much? Like, do you see him? Does he come by once in a while?
I do get to chat with George, and I can't say enough good things about him. He moves really quickly, and you got to try and follow along the best you can. He'll ask a million questions. And if you don't have the answer, you say you don't have the answer, but you better have it tomorrow, because he'll remember it and he'll remember the answer. It is great speaking with George, but the whole company is great to speak with, and you can connect with him whenever you'd like.
Wow, amazing.
He is accessible.
You might have to twist his arm to come on the podcast.
Actually, maybe you'd probably do it.
Oh, that'd be amazing. It'd be an honor.
That'd be awesome.
Sure. As a leader in asset management, what advice would you give to aspiring property managers or asset managers that are looking to achieve similar results as you?
I would say, some of the obvious things, which is hard work. Again, relationships, never closing doors. You'd be amazed at how often you come up to the same people, just and in different capacities. So that type of thing. But then there's some of those Armonian group attributes that I really like. And one of them is challenge the status quo. I think that as long as you aren't being confrontational, if you dive a little bit deeper, you'll see some great results. I love it. You're absolutely right. It's such a small industry. I'm learning that every day. You got to make sure you're not burning bridges, throughout and building those relationships. And it's great advice. As you know, I own a janitorial company. So assuming janitorial is one of your largest ongoing costs in your properties, how do you look for janitorial companies to work with? What attributes are you looking for? What's your thought process there? That would be more involved on the property management, but we scrutinize the third third-party service contracts.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that I would look for is almost like any relationship is trust and security.
Yeah.
So, what type of steps are they taking to make sure that the property is secure?
Yes.
How do they handle the, whether it's the access cards or the staffing, are they lean? Do they have an operation that seems to make sense, or is there just a lot of overhead? Are there too many staff members? And then, of course, what level of service are they providing? I've heard some other stories where the janitors only collect garbage out of one centralized place on a floor. I mean, that doesn't make sense. They do have to go into their tenant spaces and get all the garbage. Yeah. So, I mean, you can dive into all the weeds like that, or you can dive into the higher level type of concept in terms of whether it's security, price, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, central garbage is, I think it happened over COVID a little bit, the centralized garbage concept, and some people liked it. I think there was definitely some pushback from tenants a little bit here and there, but it certainly it saves on costs. That time that it takes to go to every room, change garbage.
Price is the ultimate amenity.
That's right.
Although there's a satisfaction level that you have to meet.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I hear you. Very good. Thanks for that. If you could manage any famous property in the world, what property would that be and why?
Well, it wouldn't be an office building.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, office buildings are fantastic, but I don't think they're as exciting. Probably go back to hotels. I think that hotels and hosting and restaurants are obviously more exciting. Yeah. So, and the funny thing is, I don't know that many famous hotels. I'd probably want to go something boutique-y, something where you have like-minded people. So like something that came to mind was the Moxie Hotel in Banff. Oh yeah. Shout out to the Christiansens and Canalta. Yeah. They did a great job with that asset. I mean, it's kind of like a boutique asset. First of all, they transformed it into something like a really cool, what's it called? A soft brand by Marriott. And so it's a great asset, and it's very cool and funky.
Very, very nice. Yeah. And the idea of being in Banff, is that attractive to you too?
For sure.
Yeah.
And exactly. It's not, I mean, if you're there, you're probably having a good time.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And you're staying overnight. Your clients should be happy clients. Yeah. And you want to, definitely have to do the work to make sure that everyone's happy. Yeah. So that'd be an asset I would say would be more exciting.
Right on. That's great. Good. And then finally, if you could recommend any book to the fellow asset managers and property managers, what book would that be and why?
Fight Club. It can get really tough out there.
Wow. Like you're talking like the movie Fight Club?
Yeah.
Really? Is the book even better?
It's the book.
I didn't know there was an original book.
Yeah. No, not Fight Club. No. The first rule. No. Okay. So, no, not Fight Club. I would say, again, it comes down to common sense. So I would say reading something like Psychology, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Dale Carnegie,
Yeah, exactly.
Great book.
So that's an amazing book. I mean, I read it a long time ago. I should probably reread it. But that is a book of just fundamentals, how to deal with people.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
It's critical. Yeah. It's a people business, that's for sure. So very good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me here. I'm truly honored. Before we finish, just tell me a little bit of history about this building, because we talked about in the 80s, but this was the BMO.
This was the BMO building. This was their flagship building in Calgary.
Yes, and
this was the biggest bank building at the time. There were other rival bank buildings, and this one was the showcase. And so they built this tower, and we're in the atrium right now. Yeah. And there was going to be a second tower, and that was going to be another office. Yeah. And from the looking north perspective, it was supposed to kind of read BMO. It looks like an M. And it never was built, so it's kind of just half done. And it stood as the BMO building for a long time. I'm not sure when the bank left. It's semi recently. Right. It's probably around 10 years. Okay. And there's the old there's a lot of signs that BMO used to be here. There's a lot of vaults in the basements. Wow. There's tons of vault doors. Wow. There's the old retail branch where they used to be. And we're going to do something creative with that. So now this is a kind of a blank slate.
Yeah, very exciting. Well, thanks for having me here. I'm truly honored.
My pleasure. I'm so happy you came.
Great. Thanks, Corbin.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.